Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to continue on with a declutter. I have an entire declutter series for 2021. If you want to see it, I will link it in the description box below. But I've kind of been putting this one off because I don't want to do it. Single eyeshadows. Oh, and I have been up to this point swatching a lot of what there is. And I don't know that I have the heart or the inclination or the desire to swatch many of these, but I will show them to you. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for being subscribed. And if you aren't, would you please? So here are some things I've learned about myself as a makeup wearer, especially as an eyeshadow wearer. I prefer a smaller palette. I really love sparkly shadows. I love neutral shadows. I've got a ton of neutrals, but I really love something that's interesting and texturally different and that has a lot of shine to it. I also know that I don't like things where there's a lot of fallout, and I don't tend to reach for really a ton of super peachy eyeshadows. And I've learned the hard way over the last several years that I just don't reach for my single eyeshadows, the ones that I put in a magnetic palette. So I have this handful right here of palettes to show you. I also have an entire box of Super Shock singles and other things. We'll see what we have time to get through today. I may need to split this up. There is another large palette here that I am not including in this declutter, and I want to show it to you first. It's a very large palette, a magnetic palette that I got from Adept Cosmetics. And the reason I am not getting rid of this is because it houses every single one of my, where do I look? It houses every single one of my Sydney Grace shadows. Sydney Grace is my absolute favorite eyeshadow formula. And I have over the last 2 years collected all of these singles. And out of all the other singles I have, because I do have this pile right here, and they're like little round singles, just like my Sydney Grace ones, I know I don't reach for the ones in this stack, and I do reach for these. Now, you might notice that I have taken the time to put like all my mattes on one side, all my shimmers on the other. And then they're kind of in rows, like, you know, purples over here, kind of yellows and greens here. And the same sort of thing going on here. I have more cooler and mauve tones going down the side, and I kind of group things together. The reason I have it set up the way that I do is if I wanted to do, say, an olive green look, I would use like these neutrals here, maybe pull in some of this, and then go for this row, maybe these 2 rows here. If I wanted to do something that was maybe more purple toned, I'd use stuff here, maybe pull in some of this, and use maybe more of these cooler mattes. I feel like when I have things kind of organized visually, kind of in descending color intensity, it makes it easier for me to mentally eliminate the rest. I know I'm not going to be using, you know, these kind of peachy tones here. Okay, I don't even look at them. And if I have a palette where it's, you know, a red here, a purple there, a green there, and then a whole bunch of neutrals, some are warm, some are cool, I get so overwhelmed and I get a really discombobulated eye look. So I have this palette set up specifically how I know I want it. You might notice something similar to that as we go through some of the rest of these palettes, but let's jump in. This magnetic palette here is a Colourpop palette. It's one of the first larger magnetic palettes they released. I do have a lot of empty magnetic palettes. I used to have a ton of stuff, and I went through a season of depotting palettes and putting them into magnetic palettes to kind of create my own. I'm not as interested in doing that anymore, so I got a lot of this. But the majority of what's in here is actually from Colourpop. And if we're going to just swatch a few, this is what they look like. My hands are going to be a mess. I'm going to apologize in advance. And are they pretty? Yes. Are they a little dusty? Yeah, they're getting old. And beyond that, they're also not the formula that I like the most. And after having flipped over a lot of these, most of them are Colourpop. There might be 3 or 4 of the old Mega Geek in here before they reformulated. So I'm happy to let all of these go. I'm probably going to call some friends and some family and give them each an empty magnetic palette and say, okay, what tickles your fancy, make your own perfect palette. That's probably how I'm gonna get rid of these. I'm gonna pull out an empty magnetic palette. This is one from Tarte. I like it because it has a mirror in it, but I'm gonna leave it open here on my desktop. And if I come across any shades that really excite me, and that if I remember, because there are some really beautiful shades that are kind of lost in the mayhem here. And my goal is to pick out maybe those 5 or 7 really great shades and let the rest go. And I can see one right now. So I have this double-sided Izzy palette. I used to have both sides full, but I'm constantly rearranging. I'm constantly trying to find ways to better kind of understand what I have. And so this had been all cool on one side, warm on the other. And it had been a mixture of Sydney Grace. And so when I made that giant Sydney Grace palette, I kind of pulled everything out of here, but I left these guys. The majority of these eyeshadows here have a cool lean. There are some kind of olivey army greens in here, but a couple of purple shades and a lot of blues. And I don't even know why I buy blues because I don't wear blues, but there is a shade in here that I know is beautiful and I think I want to keep. This one's from Colourpop. This one's called Glass Bowl. So that one's going in my palette. That's the first one I'm saving. I was looking at this one, I'm like, that's pretty. It's actually from Makeup Geek. That one's Jester. I'm gonna hang on to that one. I think I might hang on to this one too. This is another Makeup Geek shade called Karma. This one's called Tinseltown. It's from Makeup Geek. It's gorgeous. Oh, I think I'm gonna hang on to that. You know what I've noticed is that I tend to prefer the Makeup Geek formula over the Colourpop, and it's not all of them, it's just some of them. I just realized these two here are exactly the same shade. I bought it twice. It's called Take the Lead from Colourpop. Oh, who's surprised? Not me. I can see why I picked out the ones that I really liked, and I'm gonna leave them there. I don't know what the rhyme or reason was for this. I feel like there was at one point. I think I might keep this one here. This is a Makeup Geek shade called Brownie Points. It's a little bit cooler and it's a matte. I'm just kind of seeing what my eye is naturally drawn to. I think I might save this one as well. This is an Anastasia Beverly Hills shade called Hot Chocolate. I think I'm gonna leave the rest of this and call it good. This one is full of warm neutrals. For a long time, I really, really loved a warm neutral, and I still do, don't get me wrong, but I'm going through, I'm gonna swatch some of these and see kind of like what really calls to me. I'm gonna pull this shade out here. This is from Colourpop. This is called Take It Slow. It's kind of a metallic beige shade, and I tend to get a lot of use out of shades like that. I'm gonna hang on to that one. Kind of liking this burgundy-ish brown shade here. This one's called Cherry Cola. This one is from Makeup Geek. I might hang on to that. I think I might hang on to this as well. It's this color right here. It's from Makeup Geek. It's called Lucky Penny. I really wasn't expecting to hang on to any of these. I'm rather surprised. I think I'm gonna keep this one. This one's from Anastasia Beverly Hills and it's called Bengal. So I'm gonna put the rest of this away. I forgot about this palette. So these 4 here are from Love Luxe Beauty, an indie brand that does highlights. I think this is a Mary Luminizer. Yes, it's a Mary Luminizer from The Balm. And I have some bronzy and contour shades that I got in a mystery set from Makeup Geek. But the fact that I have like their warm deep contour, I don't really use that. And this one also is too dark for me here. And I kept my one single black matte eyeshadow in here. I have some other blacks that I like in other palettes, so I feel like I can let that go. I'm mostly curious about the highlights, and I probably wouldn't use these as highlight anymore. I think my hand is so dirty it might get a better color swatch if we swatch the other way. But I would use these as eyeshadow toppers. This one's kind of got a gold sheen shift to it. I feel like I have eyeshadows that are similar to this. I don't feel like I need that. This one here is called Eternal Greige. I don't think I need that one either. Maybe I don't need any of these. This one is called Fantasy. I don't think I need this one. This was the one that was most interesting to me. This one's called What Mermaids Are Made Of. And it had, I don't know if you can still see, had speckles of blue, some purple, and a kind of a fish scale sort of surface to it. But it has kind of like a interesting greeny gold sort of flip. You know, I don't think I need any of these. I have this strong feeling in my bones that I was missing some singles, and I am. I found this little box here. I had over the years taken to making quads for myself, and that's what these are. These are all little Makeup Geek quad, empty quads that you can fill with whatever shadows. I have 12 quads in here. Let's take a quick look at some of these. I went through all of them and I made sure as I was looking, I was trying to create a color story if I wanted to do kind of plummy looks. Actually, I really like that. You can see why I spent time doing this. This one right here, that's beautiful. Ooh, both of these metallics in here are really pretty. I don't know, I like this one. I can really see where I was going with these. These are actually rather fun. Man, I'm falling in love with my eyeshadow collection again. Oh, I knew I wanted to do pinks at one point. These are so pretty. I don't think I like this one as much. I think I can safely say that one can go in the to-go pile. I feel like I want to pull this kind of metallic raspberry shade out. That's really fun. And I've been liking shades like that. That one's going in my palette. I feel like I really like this shade here. I might pull that one. This one's kind of interesting because I don't know that I absolutely love it, but this green is kind of special. Maybe I'll pull the green. The green is from Makeup Geek. It's called Takes Two. I'm finding that the majority of the ones that I'm pulling, and I'm not even looking at the back, I'm just kind of swatching certain ones that catch my eye. I feel like those tend to be Makeup Geek. So I don't know, I'm pretty impressed. And some of these are pretty old. Ooh, this one's rather pretty, isn't it? Oh, that green. Wow, even this color here. It doesn't really look as metallic in the pan, but ooh, I think I might actually like that quad. This is the last pre-made quad that I have, and it's from Makeup Geek. And I think this is a quad that they, like a color story that they sell, where you can buy all of the pans and the magnetic compact all at the same time. I feel like it's pretty, but do I already have, I like this shade. This kind of coppery penny shade. I don't know. Maybe I'll hang on to this one. I am getting rid of all the shadows in here, and these singles are, there's 142 of them. That's a lot. So I'm keeping 12 here and 19 shadows in here. I'm gonna try and create like a 9-pan color story from some of the ones that are in here. And then I like these pre-made quads. This one especially, this one might be my new fall favorite. I wanna use this. And I will have to, if I use one of these in an upcoming video, I will make sure to list what shades they are. I know that a lot of these shades are probably not going to still be available. The Colourpop shades, they come and go, they change. I feel like Makeup Geek had a ton of shadows at one point and then they reformulated and they didn't bring them all back. I like that I took the time to create these palettes. I just never got around to using them. And I think the reason I didn't get around to using them is I had so much. But I feel like with this and these guys here and the ones that I have from Sydney Grace, I'm really not gonna need anything else. I really don't see myself purchasing any single powder eyeshadows in the future. I just don't see myself doing that. I think I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna go give my hands a good wash. I still have yet to go through this, and I have some liquid eyeshadows and some other things that I need to go through, so I'll save those for another day. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Let me know, do you prefer creating your own palette, like being able to find the colors that inspire you and put them all in a magnetic palette and just go from there? Or do you prefer a pre-made palette? I feel like for me it's easier to use a pre-made palette. I don't feel as overwhelmed as I do from some of the other palettes, and I do like a smaller size palette. So something like this makes my heart super happy, and I'm more likely to use this than I am to use a giant palette, unless it's my Sydney Grace one. I feel pretty good about where I am right now. I feel good about letting go of everything in here, plus you know, these pre-made quads that I just never really got around to using. I would love to know if you like taking the time to create your own palette with singles like this, or whether you really prefer something that is already kind of built for you, the color story envisioned by somebody else, and you just buy a pre-made palette. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know if you have a favorite formula when it comes to single shadows. I don't think I'm going to be in the market to buy any singles anytime soon because I have way more than I can use, and I think that I'm not going to be buying like 12 or 20 at a time anymore. I think those days are over. I think it might be one or two here or there if there's a really pretty shade or a finish that I'm looking for that might be a fun addition to my collection. But I think what you see is pretty much what I'm going to hang out with for a while. Thanks so much for watching today. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.